Friends. So today I'll be making you aware about how we can make Java APIs and then host it on Lambda, AWS Lambda. Okay. So the API is gonna fetch information from the RDS DB. So we are going to use two services of AWS, that is RDS, that we are going for storage, and the other one is Lambda, that we are going to use to host our APIs. And also we are going to use API gateway. So we will be integrating our Java APIs with AWS Lambda and API gateway. Okay, so let's begin. First, you guys make your AWS account. It's very easy. And when you have made your AWS account, let me come. Let me open my account first. So your AWS account would look like this. So under the products, when you will open, there are many AWS services, as you can see. Amazon EC2 to create an instance, then Amazon RDS that we are going to use today for storage, AWS Lambda. Okay, so first I'll show you, I'll tell you basics about AWS Lambda. Okay, when you will click on AWS Lambda, yeah, yeah. So you have opened your AWS Lambda, and here the screen will comes like this. Okay, so for every API, we will going to create a function. Okay, so how you want to create a function? When you click on these all things, we are going to do from Eclipse only. Okay, I'm just showing you the page. Right now, I am not having any function. Okay, over here. And let me show you Amazon RDS. Okay, in RDS, we can create any database. We can use any database like MySQL, Postgres, um, then Oracle, MongoDB. You so here RDS services are opened. In the left side, you will see databases. Then go to databases. Okay. As you can see right now, we are not having any database created. Okay. So let's begin with the database creation. Uh, on the right side, you can see there are many locations. Okay, you can host it on any location, but try to choose that location in which you are situated, so it will be faster. Okay, as I have created many databases in this North Virginia location, so let me show you. Yeah, just wait for 2-3 minutes, it will get open. You can choose any location, right? But try to choose the location which is just near to you. Okay, so you can see I have created these many databases, but I am going to create a fresh database. Okay, so go to create databases, click on it, then yeah. So first you will see there are two options, standard create or easy create. If we will choose standard create, then we have to choose the configurations as per our need. Okay, so the configurations include security, backups, and maintenance, and many more things. Okay, so we can customize basically our configurations. And if we will choose easy create, then it will automatically come with the basic configurations, which by which we can create our any we can configure our any databases. So as of now, as we are starting only, so we will go to easy create. Okay, it will have all the basic configurations, right? But if you want any particular configuration, then you can go on and then you can choose standard create. Okay, so I have chosen easy create. And as you can see, there are these databases that we can use: PostgreSQL, Oracle, MySQL, MariaDB, Microsoft SQL Server. You can use any of it. So today I'm going to make use of MySQL. So let's choose MySQL. Yeah. Now, in the next step, you can see there are three environments. As you are starting, try to choose free-tier services because you are at the learning phase only. So why to invest money? Okay, so if you choose free tier, then no money will get deducted, and you can do whatever stuff you want to do, and you can store, you can use RDS Gmail. Okay, so I am going to choose free tier. Okay, next is DB Instance Identifier. Here we are going to give a name to the DB instance. We can give any name here, and by this name only, when we will open the RDS and under the database section, we will be going to identify, okay, by this name that we have created this database. Okay, let's say I am giving it a name, my date, my first database. Okay, then master username, whatever username which you want to give. For me, I would like to give it a name admin. Okay. Then the password which you want to set. You can set any password. Let me set you. Then confirm password. Okay. And then you can see what are the default settings when you have chosen the easy create option. Okay. So here are VPC, subnet group, these all things. One thing which you have to see is this public accessibility. It should be yes. Public accessibility means that you can use your RDS DB outside in any applications. If it will be set to no, then you won't be able to use it outside the AWS account. Okay. So remember one thing that it should be yes. If you are choosing the uh, easy create option, then it will be by default yes. And if you are going with the standard create, then try to choose it as yes. Then only you can use it in any of your applications. Okay. So let's click on create databases. So we are ready. Okay, current password do not match. So it got created. Yeah. As you can see, we have given it a name as my first database. Okay, so it will be listed here. Okay, under database, you can see it. Then, when you will see here status, it is showing as creating. It basically, it is basically having three different phases. First, it will be creating the first it will be creating, and after that, it will be ready and then available. So once the status will be available, then only we will be able to use it outside in any other applications. Okay, so right now it is creating with the basic configurations that we have chosen. It will take some time, and after that the status will be available. Okay, as you can see, the the databases which I have already created before, they are having the status as available, so I can use it outside in my other applications. Okay, so let's wait until its status get changed to available. Okay, so this is how you are going to create your mysql db in AWS, and you are going to use it outside any other application. Remember one thing, that it should be publicly accessible. Okay, you can choose you can also see whatever properties you have chosen by clicking on this. This is happening. So yeah, let me tell you one thing. As it is still creating, so let me show you with the database which I have already created. One thing, yeah, let's come here. Yeah, so for accessing DB in Workbench, we need host, username, password, port. Okay, these are things that we need. When your status will be available and you will come inside it, then you can see here this one. This one is the host name. Okay, you can call it as IP. Okay, so let me copy it. Host is okay. Yeah. Then your username is what you have said there. In my case, I have given it as admin. Okay. Password, what you have said there. Like, okay. And port is by default 3306. You can see it over here. Okay. And when you will see here public accessibility, it is coming over here. Yes. So we can access this DB outside in any other applications. Okay. So this was all about setting database. Now we can use Workbench to open it and check whether we are able to connect it or not. Okay. Now this is my Workbench. So here my Workbench got open. I will show you the properties which we are using. As you can see, we have given connection name any name, then host name is the similar. This one I have given it as host name. Port is 3306. Username is admin. Password, you are going to enter it here. Okay. and then database name is test. Okay, or you can leave it as blank. Then test connection. Now click on it. If it will get open, then you have successfully created database and configured it in Workbench. So you can see over here that our database got open. Okay, you can see show basic command, show databases. Yeah, it will show you these all the databases that are there. Okay. And inside this you can see show tables. These are all the tables that are inside it. Okay. You can create the table, whatever things you do in MySQL, you can do it here. Okay. Now come to Eclipse. Okay, we will start with creating a function, Lambda function. Okay, that will have APIs which is used to fetch records from database and also to store the records from database. Okay, I have already created a function, so I will start with it. First, when you will open your Eclipse, then go to help, and inside help go to Eclipse Marketspace. Okay. Inside Eclipse Marketspace, we are going to install Aws Toolkit. Basically, Aws Toolkit comprises of all the AWS services like EC2 and Lambda services, serverless Java applications. These all things are inside it. Okay, so we can directly create an app, we can directly create a program here and deploy it on the AWS server as a Lambda function. Okay, and we can run it also from here. No need to run over here, then copy the jar and paste it over there. So all those things can be replaced if we are going to use Aws Toolkit. Okay. So in the find section, I'll be typing Aws Toolkit. Aws Toolkit. Okay. As I have already installed it, so I'll tell you these are very small steps. Okay. So here it is coming as Aws Toolkit for Eclipse 2. Okay. As I've already installed it, so it is showing for me installed. you are going to install it for the first time. So here you have to click on install. Then it will, then next, you will going to install all the packages which are inside the toolkit. Okay, so it will install all the plugins which are required for AWS, so that you can use to you can directly deploy, you can directly run on AWS server from Eclipse. Basically, it will integrate basically your AWS with Eclipse basically. Okay, so when you will install it, then one thing remember, it is going to ask two things. One is the access key, another is the secret key. Okay, so that you are going to get from when you will open your AWS account. Under your name there is a drop down, right? You can click over it. Under my security credential you will find that thing. Okay, I'll show you. Yeah, only two things are required. Okay, so by that only, by access key and secret key only, it is going to identify your username in AWS. Okay, so whatever you are going to deploy it, it will directly deploy it under your function, AWS Lambda function. Okay, here you can see access key and secret access key. Okay, let me open it. So this one is mine. If you are creating it for first time, then you can right click on create new access key. Okay, it will generate an access key here, and it will then download a file. It will then generate a file, and inside that file there will be a secret key. Okay, so two things. One is the access key, another is the secret key. Access key will be shown here, and the secret key, when you will click over it here, then the file will get generated, and inside that file there would be that secret key. Okay, so you only have to remember those two things. Okay, and now when you will installing the AWS toolkit, it will ask you access key and secret key, put it over there, and then finish your installation. You don't have to enter any other thing over there. Okay, so and then the last option would come to restart your Eclipse. Then restart your Eclipse. Okay, so when you will restart it, you will see an icon over here. It is for AWS Toolkit for plugins. When you will open, when you will click on the drop down, you can see there are many things like new AWS Java project, new AWS Lambda Java project, new AWS server project, okay, and many more things. So you can create these many things of, by using AWS Toolkit. It will create a basic template, okay, and in the preference section, when you will click, mm, it is going to show you your access key and the secret key. Yeah, you can see over here your access key ID and your secret key. Okay, that will be that, and that will be there inside that file. Okay, then click on cancel. Then let's start with creating function. Okay, first click over it and then go to new AWS Lambda project. Okay, Lambda Java project. Which you would like to give, like first Lambda project. Okay, this is the name which you want to give, and then finish. it will create this basic template. So let me show you. First, we are going to create a post API. Okay. So you have already created a demo project from AWS Toolkit, AWS Lambda Java project. Okay. Then inside the src main Java, create 4 packages. One for handler, one for models, one for database and all those classes, and one for constant. Okay. So in the first, I will show you models. Okay. Models basically consist of all the Pojo classes or the setter getters. In the we are going to create 3 classes: request Pojo, response Pojo, and response object Pojo. Okay. So as you can see here, we are having 3 fields: employee's ID, salary, and address. Okay. And then the setter getters. Setter getters we create by clicking just on right click on it, and then go inside source and then generate setter getters. Okay. Let me show you. Yeah. As you can see inside the source, this generates setter getters. Okay. So we are having 3 fields: employee ID, salary, and address. Okay. Then in the response class, we are going to have 3 things: message ID. Message ID basically will consist of the code that is going to be returned, like 200 is for success request, 404 is for no page found, and um, many more that we are going to use. So that code that will be displayed in message ID. And message reason. Message reason is like whether it was success, whether it was invalid request. So those things will come under message reason. And there is one more field also, that is response object. Inside the response object, we are going to return any other information which we want to return from the database. Okay, like if you are let's say if you are selecting employees ID 1 and if you want to see this information to come. Okay, like if you are choosing it 1, then the employee who is having as ID 1, its whole detail like address and salary should be displayed. So those information will be get displayed in response object. Okay, the response object. Now let's come to response object class. What it all contains. Okay, it contains employee ID. Okay, and yeah, now when um now this was all about models. We are having 3 classes only. Okay, now come to constant. Okay, let me show you for simple classes. We have declared 3 constants: failed, invalid request, and success. Okay, then coming to handler class, which is the main and important class. So you have created a create employee handler. It will always implement request handler. Okay, Request handler will have two parameters. As one, it will have request. Another one is response. Okay. So here you are going to give the Pojo class name, which is of request, which you have made it for request. So here my Pojo class name is request user data, and here response, which is response user data. Okay. Now it will always contain a method called handle request where this request will get handled. Okay. So as this is a create API, so whatever we are going to enter in Postman, like if we want to enter a new employee, okay, so what it will contain: employee's name, employee's salary, okay, two things it will contain. So those information will come inside the request detail. Okay, so here we have created a function called insert detail. Okay, and insert detail we are passing request detail and response detail, both the two objects. Okay, and if we will look into insert detail, here we are creating a variable for database connection. Then in the DB connection, you can see here it is calling a method called get connection. Okay, so let's go inside it. This is the get connection. Okay, so here you are giving URL as JDBC MySQL. Here is the IP, which I already told you, this host name. Then test is the database name which we have created. Username is admin. Password is 12456. Okay, so these are only the four things which we have to pass, and then inside the Java manager we are going to pass it. Then come back to our handler class. It will return connection object. Then we are going to pass all the request details. Request detail consists of all the informations that we have entered, that we are going to enter, and the connection object. Okay, inside get query. And I will show you get query. Here is my get query. Okay, so here I have taken a transaction ID. Let's say whenever I'm inserting any row inside my DB, it will have a transaction ID also. Then my query is insert into employee one. Employee one is a table that I have created in the database. It is having fields employee name, employee salary, address, and insert date. Okay, and the date I'm taking from here. Okay, now I am executing this query, as you can see, and returning the transaction ID over here. Okay, and transaction ID is the last inserted ID. Okay, it is going to return the employee ID, which is last inserted. Okay, now coming back to here, if transaction ID is equal to -1, okay, because initially we have set the transaction ID is -1. If transaction ID didn't get changed, okay, it's like if transaction ID is not equal to 1, like if it is changed 1, 2, 3 or any other thing, then we are going to return under message ID 201. For post, HTTP request code is 201 for success. And under HTTP, under message reason, we are going to return it as success. And in the response object, we are passing only the transaction ID. Okay, so that's all. Now, if you want to upload it as a function, then right click on create employee handler, then come to right click on the handler class and come to AWS Amazon Web Service. Here is an option of upload function to AWS Lambda. Click over it. Now, here you can give any name like create employee handler. You can give any name like or any other name. Okay. Then come to next. And by that name only, it will be getting recognized that which function that you are using for your post API. Okay. So here you just need to click on create and then okay. Then finish. That's all. Here you can see it is creating. It is uploading this code as a Lambda function on AWS account. In just few minutes, we will be able to see this as a function on AWS. Okay. As you can see, our function got uploaded. Now let's check it. Go to Lambda. Then as you can see, create an EMP handler that we have created. Okay. Inside the function, it will get automatically listed over here. Now we are going to create API. So we will go to API gateway. Okay. Yeah. So under API gateway, go to create API. Then here, choose the REST API and build. Then give any name to your API. Let's say we are giving it as create EMP. Okay, one name. Okay. Now click on create API. Now come to actions. Choose create resource. Here give any name to your API. Create EMP. Like let's say API. You are giving it a name as this one. Then click on create resource. Okay. Then inside it create a method. Method what we are creating is a post type. Okay. So we are creating a post API. So we are choosing post. Then click on here. Okay. So from here, click the name of the function, Lambda function. Okay. Name of the function that we have created was create handler 12. Okay. This by this we are mapping our function with the API gateway. So whenever we are going to make a request from API, it will go to the function which we have mapped here, and inside the function it will go to the request. Okay, and from that request we will fetch the records and whatever thing we want to do, and then we will return a response from there. Okay, then click on save. Okay, it is saving. Okay, now come under action and click on deploy API. Okay, from here choose next stage and give it any name like test, then deploy. So this is the URL of the API. Okay, you have to copy it till here. Click on post. This is the complete URL. Okay, that you are going to use it. Now let me show you. Let me open my Postman. Inside the Postman, here is the name of my resource. Okay, and I have chosen it post, and in the body I have given employee name as, let's say, Shreya, address as Noida, and salary as 25000. Okay, let me show you my database also. We are using the table one. Yeah, so here you can see we are having only 3 entries right now. Okay, so let's give it any other name. Let's say Ramesh. Okay, set his location as Hyderabad, and his salary is, let's say, this. Okay. So in the body, we are having three parameters. And when we have created this table, we have kept employee ID as auto generated. Okay. Auto created, auto increment. Okay. Now, when we will click on send, let's wait for the result. Yeah. Here you can see the status is 200. That means our request is successful. In the message ID, it is returning as 201. Okay, as you can see. If the request is 200, then inside the message ID, it will be written as 201. In the message reason, success, and in response object, it will return transaction ID. So message ID is 201, message reason is success, and inside the response object, it is returning the employee ID which got inserted. Now, let's verify it inside in our DB. Let me run this query. Till now, there are only 3 entries. Okay. Now you can see Ramesh is also added over here, and his employee ID is 4. Okay. So this was all about Create API. Okay. These are the things, only this much of code. And for the code, you can also check my GitHub link, which I'm sharing it below. Now, in the next, I'm going to show you the how to make a get API. Get API, there is a little bit of changes because in the get API, we will be going to pass some parameters with the API. In create API, we are not going to pass the parameter with the API, with the URL, but in this, we have to. Okay. So let me show you my get employee handler. If you will come, it is also having the same packages inside the constant. You can see we have these 1, 2, 3, 4 constants. Okay. Then inside sorry, inside models, we will check inside the request user, we are having employee ID. Now, if we talk about a get API, let's think about a scenario first. Okay, we will pass any employee ID in the request, and then in the backend, the employee ID will come, and if that employee ID exists in our database, then all the information of that particular employee ID will will come in a response, and it will be shown to us. Okay, so we are fetching all the details of an employee on the basis of employee ID. So in this scenario, what will be the request parameter? Employee ID. So in the request, we are having only employee ID, setter and getter. Okay. Now come to response. In the response, what we are returning? Message ID, message reason, okay, and response object. So here in the response user data, we are returning same as we was returning in create API. But remember one thing, I have told you about response object. In the response object, what all details which we need from the backend that we are going to return. So the changes will be there in the response object class. Okay. Now we will see. Yeah. In response, what we want: employee ID to get returned, salary to get returned, address to get returned. Okay. So thing will be so the scenario would be like, if I am entering employee ID as 1, his employee ID, salary, and address will get returned in the response object. Okay. So here I am having these 3 fields and setter getters and constructor also of response object. Okay. Now coming to the handler. This handle request, this one is same. Then insert detail, request detail, and response. Both will get passed as a parameter. Then when we come to insert detail function, first we are going to check that in the request, if the employee ID is equal to 0, that means we are not passing in any employee ID, then the message code will return as 400, invalid request. Okay, it means that if we are not passing any employee ID, then it should return as invalid request. Okay, else it will make a DB connection. Okay, and in the connection, then you can see, just a second. Yeah, as you can see, in the DB query, we are passing the request detail and the connection. Okay, now come to get query. What we have done is request detail and connection got fetched. Our query is select employee ID, employee name, employee address, and salary from employee 1, where employee ID is. Now we are setting from request details. From the request, we are getting the employee ID. Okay. So now coming back to our handler. After executing this query, here response data will come, and if there is any response data, then we are going to add it inside the yeah, response object. We have made it like an array. Okay, so we will add it inside rs, and you can see if we got any response, then we have taken a counter variable as u, and if u got changed, then it means that our request was successful, and it will return it like this. And otherwise, if, let's say, we have entered an employee ID, let's say 6, but in our database, the employee ID which exists is 1234. Tell that. So for 6, there was no content, so it will return as 204, no content. Okay. So the minor change that I'm going to show you is that first, when you have created this program, then again come to create employee handler, right click on it, then under AWS Web Service, upload function to AWS Lambda. Okay, then upload it. Okay, similarly as we have done for the create, the minor change that we have to do is in API gateway. Okay, let's, yeah, I have made an API, get employee API. Okay, similarly on as I've done for create. The minor change that we have to do is, let me show you. So here we have for methods, we have selected get. Okay, earlier we have selected post, here we have selected get, and then we have mapped our function with it. Okay, when you will click over here get, then under the method request you have to pass inside URL query string employee ID required. Okay, it means that employee ID would be necessary, and if you're not going to pass it, it will throw an error. Okay, then come back, and inside the integration request, come here in the mapping template, choose when there are no template declined. Here write application JSON and click over it. You will get a template over here. So inside it, put the name of the field here, then colon, and then dollar input dot param and employee ID. Okay, so this is the syntax that AWS is going to follow to take the parameter that you're going to pass in the URL. From there, it will be sent to the function. Okay, so this thing is very, very important. And then save. Okay, only these two things are required in case of get API, and rest is similar to the create one. Then come to actions and deploy API. Okay, I will show you how we are going to pass a parameter. Let's come to create API. Okay, this one is my API. Here, till here is my API. Sorry. Yeah, this whole is my API, and after that we have to write it question mark the name of that field equal to 1. Okay, so if we want to see employee ID equal to 1, we are passing, and then we are clicking on send. Now you can see as our request was successful, so message ID got returned it as 200, message region as success, and inside the response object we got employee, all the details of that employee, as employee ID was 1, his name was Palak, salary is this, and address is this. If we will change employee ID to, let's say, 4, which we just now created for Ramesh, then you can see here we are getting information for Ramesh. Let's say we are passing for 6, which doesn't exist. So it is showing us no content. Okay. And let's say if we are not passing anything, then invalid request. Okay. So this was all about it. And one more thing. Yeah. You got my point? So this was all about Java API, Post API, Get API, how we are going to use it as a Lambda function, then integrating with API gateway, using RDSDB to fetch the details and store the details. Okay. And this also you can find it in my GitHub account. I'm sharing the link below. If you like the video, please share and subscribe for more videos on AWS and other technologies also. Thank you.